Hey there, YouTube. We've got another video coming out today. Nothing too fancy or exciting, I guess, but we're going to take a look at a couple of ballistic helmets. And so what you see on your left, again, working with the potato camera here, is PASGAT. This one's probably, I don't know, maybe Gulf War era. As you can see, I've got different pad and suspension system in there. This is Oregon Aero. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then over here, on the other side, we have Hardhead Veterans ATE above the ear cut. This is a Generation 1. They currently have the Generation 2 out, which has like M-lock style rails on it instead of, this style here. And that has the comfort pad upgrade in there as well. So the big thing with these, there's a lot of channels on YouTube that take these helmets out and fire off rifles and pistols and revolvers and cannons or whatever else to test how durable and tough these things are. Well, we know what they're rated for. And as much fun as it is to poke holes in things, these are maybe level 2 for the PASGAT, although, technically I guess they're rated at 3A. They're Kevlar based. And so what they're really rated for is fragmentation and handgun rounds, pistol rounds. Usually up to 44 Magnum is what they have them rated for. So as far as, rifle threat protection levels, not going to find that with a standard Kevlar helmet that's out on the market. Now, Hardhead Veterans does have a upgrade protection kind of plate thing right now that is rated, and it mounts onto the front of both the Gen 1 and the new Gen 2. And it's just, again, it just goes on the front. So you're not going to get any additional protection in the back, so to speak. But rifle rated plate that can go on there that can handle your standard, 7.62 by 39 and your 5.56 kind of stuff. Now, of course, this is a PASGAT. Again, it's kind of Gulf War era. There's been a whole bunch of, helmets that have come out since then, the Mitch and the ACH and the ECH. And again, slightly different cuts on them, as far as, creating more space for this kind of stuff to fit in there or be mounted on there. Reducing the weight on them and things of that nature. So you'll have some different options on the market as far as that goes there. But the reason why I guess I felt it was, a good idea to do a little comparison on this here was that, again, we want to talk about what's your budget. What are things that you can afford? Is having some form of protection for your noggin even worth the investment? And, hey, everybody's got their own philosophy. If you're just an airsoft or a paintball or something like that, you probably don't need to even invest in something like this. They do make, bump helmets is what they call them. Basically plastic. That's all they are. But, maybe if you're into something a little bit more serious, maybe you're in the Patriot movement, the militia movement. Maybe you're into collecting, militaria type gear and stuff like that. What's it going to cost? Now, granted, there's a lot of these high-cut helmets out there that you could spend well over $1,000 for, and they might have, a little bit less weight. They might have a little bit better fit, but they're not really providing any higher degree of protection. I suppose you could argue that, with some of the less expensive, helmets on the market being imported and things of that nature, that, maybe they're not going to be as safe as something that was, American made or something like that. That's a reasonable argument, I guess. But a lot of the companies like Hardhead Veterans who provide these helmets here, they have them manufactured. Granted, they are imported, at least last I saw. They do a great deal of testing. They do meet the standards. One of the big questions that always gets put to them on their Facebook page, what about back face deformation and things like that. And these all meet or exceed the standards, at least as far as the ones that they're testing. Now, they can't test every single helmet that comes in, otherwise they wouldn't be able to sell it to you. If they tested this helmet to see if it could withstand a gunshot, I wouldn't be able to wear it probably. So you have to kind of put some hope or faith in the manufacturing process that the ones they are testing are consistent with the ones that are just being produced in general, and that something isn't being cherry-picked off of the production line and then skimped out on later on by the individuals producing these things. So what's the big difference here? Now, I can't exactly remember what I paid for my HHV ATE. I want to say somewhere in the mid 300 range when the Generation 1 was out on the market. I think, from just checking recently, wow, hey, the camera finally focused. The Gen 2 is somewhere in the ballpark of, I think, $465, which, hey, if it's protecting your head, it's probably a worthwhile investment. They are comfortable. Like I said, at least with the Gen 1, I can't tell you what the Gen 2s have. I think they have these standards, but these here are the upgrade pads, the Comfort Plus pads, and they are a massive improvement over the ones that just came in it stock from the factory. Relatively lightweight, very comfortable, wide range of adjustment. I haven't worn this thing for 5 hours on end, so I can't tell you how much it fatigues you as far as that goes. But, very comfortable. The high cut design gives you a little bit more, space around your ear, which is actually nice when you're, dealing with, a rifle or something like that, having that little bit of extra room there for your cheek, where you're not necessarily bumping or running into your helmet, which, I'm not saying is a huge problem with the PASGAT, but as you can see here, the way that's cut, depending on how this is fitting on you, it can cause some cheek weld issues as far as getting your rifle stock nice and tight where you like it to be. The Gen 2s, they're like $465. You can find similar helmets to this one on the market for significantly less than that. Again, though, make sure you're buying from a company that has a good reputation. Hardhead Veterans has a pretty good reputation, so I felt pretty confident buying from them. And their market is, for people that might be military or law enforcement, and they want to make sure, being a veteran-owned company, that people are getting the best quality product. And hey, that's great. I can't say that for every company that's out there. It just sells this stuff for like $200 or whatever. So make sure when you're purchasing something like this new that you really research the company that's producing it, and that you agree with their philosophy, and that that they're not going to give you some kind of an inferior product just to make money. The Gen 2, $465, that's pretty steep. I think they have payment plans available through their store now to kind of break that up and spread that out. But, as far as protection level goes, if you're looking for a level 3A or a level 2, depending on, I've heard that the PASGATs are level 2, and I've heard that they're level 3A. I'm not going to test on mine because I spent money on it, and I don't feel like putting holes in it, and I certainly don't make any money off of YouTube, so that's not an issue there. But I think I paid $80 for this with the woodland cover, and also came with the 6-color chocolate chip desert cover, which, Desert Storm era. And you can find these, in varying conditions, $50, $50 to $150, just depending. They usually come with the original suspension system, which is not anywhere near as nice as this Oregon Aero set of pads that I have in here. Now, these pads are not cheap, and same thing with the harness, the Mitch style harness that comes with it. It's over $100 just to upgrade your pads and your suspension system. Stock one will work. It was basically just a big leather ring that runs around the inside with a whole bunch of straps. It's literally a suspension system. There's no padding to the stock equipment. So by the time you maybe spend $100 on this to get this shipped, and then drop another $150 on upgrading your suspension and pads, well, now you're $250 into the game on this, and that's still less than the $465 over here. But it's depending on how much additional comfort you want in the process, I guess, is what it boils down to. So, PASGAT, ATE, they're going to both provide you with about the same degree of ballistic protection. Again, the big difference is the cut and, maybe the weight. I don't think there's a huge difference, but then again, when you're playing the game of ounces, hey, it might be that 1 or 2 ounce kind of situation might make a difference. What I like about above the ear cut is I can work with these. You'll see I don't have anything on my rails here because these are Howard lights. They fit right under my helmet. I can put that right on my head and put the helmet right on over top of it. It's not uncomfortable. These fit in there perfectly. Not going to happen with this. You got to kind of run just standard earplugs or something like that with this type of helmet if you want some ear protection going on there. And the nice thing about the Howard lights is there are some inputs and things of that nature, so you can hook them up with your radio or whatever. And these are electronic, so you can still hear until things get too loud, and then it makes sure that you don't hear the things that are too loud. Now, as far as this helmet cover here, I can't remember. I ordered this off of eBay, I think, and it's a Ranger green cover, and you can see it's not a perfect fit. And this is one of the tricky things. A lot of, like hardhead veterans, they have some covers that you can order through there, and your standard, coyote, olive drab, and you can get, at one time they had like an Arctic white with like Cryptek, that or multicam. Might have been Cryptek, but I think, it's probably multicam, yeah. I'm debating with myself on the camera. Black and gray and, just some different colors like that fit really well. I have, I believe, a white one stored away, because I used to live up north. But this here, I got it off of eBay. It fits alright. I just kind of have it loosely on right now. There's Velcro underneath here. There's big strips of Velcro on the actual helmet, on the sides and the center, that all of this stuff really nicely connects and locks down to. But, you got to be careful with the helmet covers, because a lot of them are designed for airsoft. And the airsoft helmets, for whatever reason, are just ever so slightly smaller. And so these can be a real stretch to get on there, and they don't always fit perfectly. But, so yeah, you've got an $80 and a, with the Gen 2, a $450, $460 helmet, and both are going to provide the same level of protection. It's just a matter of, do you think that certain features are worth the extra funding or not to procure something of that nature. And, there's other options out there. AR500 has their, I think it's called the Militia helmet that they have. And that's like right around $300. It's a steel helmet. And it's rated 3A, so same kind of caliber threat as these, can handle or whatever. And, it's just something worth looking into and considering. This helmet here, I prefer it because of, cheek weld, hearing protection options, Very comfortable with the upgraded pads. Great level of adjustment. You got these rails here and shroud and stuff like that. So if you ever want to put a bunch of crap on there, you can. This one here, you're gonna be kind of limited, but it's just gonna provide you a degree of protection. And hey, why not? You got your fancy cat's eyes here, so that when you're walking around at night, you have these two little spots glowing in the dark on the back of your head. So I don't know if you have any questions about either of these. You can see I have kind of a digital pattern from the factory on there. But, it's kind of up to you if you think it's necessary to protect your head or not. But I thought it would be kind of neat just to look at these two side by side and kind of talk about them a little bit, as far as plus and minus, and if it's worth your time, if it's again, if you're in a pinch and you're worried about things and you want to have a little extra armor around the home in the event that chaos enters into your neighborhood, you can find a used Pascat on eBay. Again, you make sure you look at the condition of the Kevlar and make sure they have good pictures there. Sometimes these things look like they got dragged down the highway and they're trying to sell them with a cover on them. So make sure you look them over really good. This one's in pretty clean, good shape. But for $80, you could probably deal with the leather strap and the suspension and the chin strap and stuff. But you want to upgrade the comfort. Oregon Aero has some good pads there, and there's a couple other companies that make them too. Just make sure that the ones that you get are specific for the Pascat, because they're not all interchangeable, even though the designs are fairly similar between some of the other helmets that came after this design. So that's all I've got for today, folks. Just a quick little video there. Like I said, we're not going to poke any holes in anything. But yeah, two great options here. I'm a big fan of the Hardhead Veterans Company and the equipment that they produce, and hopefully you're willing to go check out that Gen 2 style there. And they've got a couple other options as far as different cuts and things of that nature on their website. But if you budget for it, I think this is a worthwhile option for anyone who is looking to do a little bit of freedom work, So take care. Have a great day. Thanks for checking out this little video. Again, sorry we didn't poke holes in anything, but hey, rock on and stay free, folks.